All right, John, good morning once again.
Good morning to you, Steph. Doing some heavy lifting today. You are busy.
Just a little bit today, yes. But you know, I have not made it outside just yet. I'm hoping that fog has left us since the earlier morning hours.
It hasn't, Steph. It's just been hanging on, at least here in Toledo. Surface observations are the worst in Toledo here as far as the fog goes. Other locations reporting better visibility right now, but still socked in along the Maumee River. Fog advisory, dense fog advisory, it was in effect until 10, and then they extended it until noon. So it's still in effect. Fog will eventually give way to sunshine, and that sun will gradually warm us up as we get into this afternoon. It's going to be a lot better than the 61 degrees we hit for a high on your Tuesday. The first taste of heat so far this spring actually arrives tomorrow. We haven't cracked 80 for 218 days now, more than 7 months. I think that changes on your Thursday. Now, we've got a big weekend coming up with Mother's Day on Sunday. We'll let you know what to expect. It's a little messy as we get into the weekend. All the details, of course, coming up with a new look at your 10-day forecast in just a few minutes. Steph, back to you with the top stories right now.
Well, John, thank you. Starting us off on NBC24 Midday, we're looking at land preparation for ProMedica's largest single construction project of a $350 million replacement tower will begin this year. Well, construction on the new tower at ProMedica's flagship hospital will get underway in 2016. This is a look at it right there. That's the image that you're seeing. The tower, which will house 302 beds. This is what it'll look like. The new North Cove Boulevard Tower will feature room design and floor layouts that the hospital says provides amenities for patients and staff. Well, 2019 is the slated opening date for the 13-story structure. We'll hear more from ProMedica tonight on NBC24 News at 5, 6, and 11. Well, if your travels take you on ProMedica Parkway, you may need to find an alternate route. The ramp to eastbound I-475, it closed this morning. Now, detours can be found by way of westbound I-475 as well as Douglas Road. Now, with all projects taking place, drivers always being asked to remain cautious when driving through work zone areas. Well, a West Toledo fire is under investigation this morning. This is what the home on Barrow Street looked like shortly after Toledo Fire and Rescue put out the blaze. They were told that this broke out around 3:45 this morning. You see the damage done there to the siding of the home. We're told that an adult and 3 children were able to make it out of that home without injury. Stories from across America this morning. New information emerging about the Sunday night shooting in Garland, Texas, and the 2 men who tried to carry out that attack. Law enforcement officials are turning up chilling details right now. Andrew Spencer has more for us this morning.
The 2 long guns and 4 handguns Elton Simpson and Nadir Sufi carried far outgunned the security guard at the entrance of the Curtis Colwell Center in Garland, Texas. The guard had only a pistol. While ISIS has claimed responsibility for the attack, White House officials aren't quite sure whether the terrorist group is to blame.
At this point, this is still under investigation by the FBI and other members of the intelligence community to determine any ties or affiliations that these 2 individuals may have had with ISIL or other terrorist organizations around the world. So it's too early to say at this point.
But officials do say the attack fits with a pattern of ISIS recruitment, using social media to encourage sympathizers to attack. The FBI recently opened a new investigation when Simpson began communicating with terrorists overseas, but he and his friend were still able to drive to Texas from Phoenix, Arizona to attempt the attack.
This is where capacity bumps up against the reality of what's going on with terrorism right now, which is membership. And the notion of membership is simply, do you have an iPad? Do you have access to the cloud? Okay, you're a member of ISIS if you choose to be.
The FBI searched the apartment the 2 men shared, but they didn't find much. One law enforcement official described the apartment as relatively barren, but investigators did retrieve a hard drive, which is now being scrubbed for information. I'm Andrew Spencer, reporting.
Happening right now, the 2015 Job and Education Fair. Job seekers, well, they're meeting with potential employers right now at the Holiday Inn French Quarter in Perrysburg. Now, the businesses on hand today, it includes the following. You'll have ProMedica and the Andersons, Premium Transportation, Ohioans Home Health Care, along with representatives from temporary agencies, restaurants, and retail stores. And then you still have until 4 o'clock this afternoon to make it to today's job fair, so head out. And we're taking a look back now at your election results from Tuesday. Yvonne Harper won Toledo's 4th District Council seat. Now, she secured that position with nearly 42% of the vote. And moving on to Springfield, cheers erupted last night when athletes and school officials there learned that Springfield School District's levy passed. You see it there. The passing of the district's 5-year, $3.9 million levy means less cuts in positions and programs will remain in place. Rossford City Schools, they passed a levy estimated to generate $2 million a year. Funds will provide assistance to preserving current educational programs there in that district. And then both of Bowling Green School levies, those passed 2 levies, an emergency renewal for $1.65 million and then another for $4.2 million, both passed with 69% of the vote there. Now over to Genoa Schools. The school district passed a 5-year emergency levy. The levy will generate more than $1 million. And Genoa also passed the renewal levy that will generate about $400,000 annually. Woodmore Schools asked voters to approve a 5-year emergency levy. Well, this levy did not pass. This was with a 53 to 47% vote. And then a new 10-year earned income tax was also voted on. This was not approved. This with a 35 to 65% vote. Well, today it is marked as National Bike to School Day. So on this day, tens of thousands of students across the country, they made their way to school, yes, on their bikes, and that included students right here in Toledo. In fact, dozens of students from Arlington Elementary, they were on their bikes this morning in honor of the day. Now, this national event, it's all part of a movement year-round to make safe routes to school for all of those students. This is also encouraging bicycling to school as a healthy alternative for kids and families who make their morning school commute. Well, a reminder also today, coming up on Friday, we did mark this in Better Living just moments ago. You have the chance to help those who've been devastated by the earthquake in Nepal. NBC24, we're teaming up with ISOH Impact to send relief to Nepal. So on Friday, we will be collecting donations at the new Kroger Marketplace. This is located on Airport Highway in Holland. And this is what we're looking for. We're looking for tarps, cots, medical supplies, as well as monetary donations, which is always needed. Friday's donation drive will run from 6 in the morning until 7 in the evening. Now, you can also find this information on our website, NBC24.com. And also would like to note that NBC24's Jim Blue, he is in Nepal right now. He will join us tonight. You will hear from him on NBC24 News at 5, 6, and 11, as well as what Dr. Pat is doing with his team right now. Well, approximately 2/3 of home fire deaths occur in homes without working smoke alarms. A recent fire in Toledo proved to be a deadly one, claiming the life of a young teen, leaving another one in critical condition. So what's being done right now by Toledo Fire and Rescue? Well, they're making sure other families are protected. Next, we'll have a live interview with Lieutenant Matthew Hertzfeld. Stay with us. Welcome back to NBC24 Midday. Joining us now this morning, we have Lieutenant Matthew Hertzfeld from Toledo Fire and Rescue Department. We appreciate you joining us today because you have a rather big happening going on at 1 o'clock today.
We do. As a department, we're always looking at ways to improve our service to the citizens and increase fire safety. I'm happy to tell you we have a very robust smoke alarm program where any resident can get those smoke alarms from any of our fire stations at no cost to them. And we've been in discussions the last several months on ways to improve this, and the Battalion Chief of Operations brought back an idea from another city, and that is when they suffer a fatal fire, we go in as a department and saturate that area where that fatal fire was and go door to door with smoke alarms to get those smoke alarms in the hands of the folks that need them, and also use it as an opportunity to talk about home fire safety.
And I know we've talked about this many times before now, and what has prompted this, there was a fire very recently where a 15-year-old passed away. Another 13-year-old was critically injured in this, and that home did not have a smoke alarm. Do you feel that that may have made all the difference?
Unfortunately, it is true that there was no smoke alarms in the house. And the reality is we can't tell for sure, but statistically we can say in most cases that smoke alarm is going to make a difference in your survivability. The goal, the effort here is to maximize that escape time, and that's what a smoke alarm gives you. It gives you that escape time.
And which is why we reiterate this so often, because you not only need to make sure you have that smoke alarm, but that the batteries are working properly, and that all of ins and outs, that it's all working and set and ready to go.
Sure. You know, smoke alarm goes hand in hand with home fire safety and an escape plan. We want you to know not only that you need smoke alarms, but what to do when that smoke alarm goes off. Are there children in that house? Are there folks with special needs in that house? Everyone needs to know what to do when that smoke alarm sounds, and that is to get out of the house immediately. Don't stop to get anything. Those possessions can be replaced. Get everybody outside at a safe meeting place and then call the fire department.
Is one smoke alarm enough?
Well, city codes, we want a smoke alarm on every floor of that house, inside and outside sleeping areas and bedrooms. As I said, we want to maximize that escape time, and we do that with early notification, with blanketing your home with smoke alarms. And that's why our robust smoke alarm program is so good and it's so successful, because if you can't afford those smoke alarms, you can get them from any of our Toledo fire stations as long as you're a resident of the city of Toledo.
So when you're going through that emergency plan, how can you go about that without scaring maybe younger kids? Because I know sometimes that can be a little scary.
It can be intimidating, and I think part of that is practicing. They get used to hearing that smoke alarm. They know that it's something that's serious and it's important that they need to pay attention to. And you can turn it into a game with the younger kids, how to crawl below the smoke, how to crawl down the stairs backwards, those types of things. Let them select what they think may be a safe place outside, and then as a family make that decision what that safe place outside would be.
Well, lastly this morning, I know you're heading out to the Willard area community there in South Ravine, so that's where you're going to be. That's at 1 o'clock today. You guys are going door to door.
That's right.
By some chance, if someone's not home, they don't have a working smoke alarm, where can they go, and those who are outside of that particular area?
Well, if they have access to the internet, they can go to our website, ToledoFireRescue.com, and they can download the smoke alarm distribution form, and then they can take that to any fire station in the city of Toledo. If by chance they don't have access to our website, they can show up at any of our fire stations where we have these forms. They can complete that form and get the smoke alarms that they would need.
Lieutenant, thank you so very much.
My
We
pleasure.
appreciate you joining us. We'll stay right here on NBC24 Midday. Meteorologist John James will be back up with us to let us know what the rest of the afternoon holds. Stay right here. Welcome back to NBC24 Midday. A treadmill accident that claimed the life of a Silicon Valley executive is now prompting a warning for all gym goers. Now, this man suffered a deadly blow to the head after falling off of a machine during a vacation in Mexico. Now, we often forget treadmills are high-powered devices, and experts say that accidents, well, they're rather common. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission shows that 24,000 people went to emergency rooms for treadmill-related accidents last year. Now, a few tips for you this morning. Use a safety key, which automatically stops the belt if you fall. Try not to look down while you are running or jump off while the machine is still running, and try to limit distractions, maybe like reading or watching TV. Now, a new screening test for ovarian cancer that can detect more women with the disease than older methods. The new approach looks at just how the levels of the CA125's protein, which is linked to ovarian cancer, changes over time. Researchers hope that the test could help diagnose ovarian cancer even earlier, but say right now it's still too soon to know if it will save more lives. Okay, so beards are big right now, not only in size, but in popularity. Well, now, as you may have heard, we're finding out that some beards, well, they're as dirty as a toilet. Royale Da has more.
Story.
Oh my gosh.
At the very least,
They're loaded.
may give you a new appreciation for a clean-shaven face.
These are the things that cause urinary tract infections.
A handful of brave men allowed us to swab their beards.
So lean on in.
To see what, if anything, is growing in them.
Here we go.
What we found even blew the mind of this microbiologist.
I'm usually not that surprised. I was surprised by this.
All of the beards had a lot of bacteria, but the normal stuff you'd find on most surfaces. Beards proving they trap and hold quite a bit. But some were comparable too. Yep.
Those are the types of things that you'd find in
Poop?
Uh-huh.
I've never seen a Petri dish with these colors before, and I've been doing a few of these.
They're lovely, aren't they? It's because we've never had them until now.
What are they?
These are enterics. These are the kind of things that you find in feces. And then
This is a collection of dirting. Golobic says this bacteria won't make you sick.
but it certainly shows a degree of uncleanliness that would be somewhat disturbing. It's just
Whoa.
completely loaded with enterics.
Golobic recommends a thorough beard scrubbing, lots of hand washing, and
Try to keep your hands away from your face as much as possible.
some sound advice, especially as the beard revolution seems to be at its peak. Golobic tells us if the city was to find samples like this in the water system, they'd shut it down for disinfecting.
Still surprised with that study. Still surprised. All right, stay right here on NBC24 Midday. Meteorologist John James back up with us with one last check of your outlook when we come back for your forecast. Stay right here. Well, now time for something from the only in Australia category. Take a look. Surveillance video captured this rather unusual visitor. He was visiting a hospital room in Hamilton. That's in Southeast Australia, if you didn't know. Now, the good news is the cuddly koala wasn't in need of any medical treatment. You see, he's doing just fine. Didn't encounter any patients, just kind of walked around. Staffers there said that he was just fearless little furball. Came in, and about 3 minutes later, he walked right back out. They just didn't have what he needed.
So cute. I could look at that all day. He looks like a cutie, doesn't he?
He looks like he really knows what he's doing. You know? Look at this, and goodbye.
He ain't scared.
At all.
Yeah, he's got some long front legs, too. Good stuff.
That really is. All right, John.
Well, we're going to get better. We're going to break out of this fog eventually. It's worse here in Toledo than anywhere else. I know down to the south they are breaking out of it and have been for a little while. The sun's shining in spots. We'll see it shine here this afternoon. Partly sunny skies and warming up. We only hit 61 yesterday, 75 today. It'll feel great. And tomorrow we break 80 for the first time in more than 7 months. Hallelujah. Hello, friend. The heat is back. Unfortunately, showers developed late on Friday. I think most of Friday's going to be pretty nice. But late in the day, showers and storms develop, and they continue on and off. Have to keep an eye to the sky over the weekend. On Mother's Day, keep your fingers crossed. Maybe that forecast will change for a dry day.
All right, John, thanks for joining us here today. Be sure to tune in tonight for NBC24 News at 5 and always online at NBC24.com.